some previous experience with Jira, but I wanted to attend anyway.
Sounds fair. This training isn't only about Jira, actually. It's more about Jira and combination of agile development and Scrum methods. So maybe there is something new, maybe not. So who else has any previous experience either in Jira or agile development team? What about you, Josh and Eden?
Yes, I also have some experience, but not with Jira, but with Trello. But in an agile environment, let's say yes.
Okay, good to hear.
Yeah, I've had some experience with Trello, but not Jira.
Okay, so I'm going to share my screen now and talk about this Jira configuration real quickly. I'm not going really in depth how did I set up and what did I do here. The most important part is that we already actually have the issues taken in here, but the problem with those are that actually those statuses are incorrect and also some information is missing. So if there is missing information, we should copy it from the board, from the Crewnew. But basically, if there is any information missing, then you can copy it from here, or Otto and I will do it manually, because those checklists actually are missing right now.
Also, one information maybe. Madis told that maybe we will have at the beginning like one introductory meeting per week, so you don't get all the information at once, and so we can divide it between weeks.
Yeah, the idea behind that is that I don't want to make this training too long, and also I would prefer to do it this way, that I will go over quickly some things, and in upcoming weeks when we are implementing those functionalities or processes, then you have new questions possibly, because right now I don't think you can come up with the questions you have in upcoming weeks. So that's the idea behind it. And with coming to Jira and this agile development methodology, basically what I wanted to also do is that we should have several meetings in week. First of all, we should have sprint planning and sprint retro, basically. This also can be done in same time frame. It's up to us how do we decide to do it. And the other type of meetings we should have are stand-ups, basically. I would recommend doing them every day, like 5 to 10 minutes at least. But again, it's up to us, and we have to decide what to do with them. So I would emphasize that we should do those decisions with whole team and see what fits the best. And also, what needs to be decided on is the sprint length, basically. Is it going to be either a week or 2 weeks? So those are the 2 or 3 things that we need to discuss after that training, basically. But overall, right now we have the tasks taken over to the Jira right now. I have assigned all of them with a epic. Epic is basically, how to say, a bigger purpose or milestone what we are planning. For example, we have this MVP milestone right now, which is somewhat having those few small things we need to accomplish or do. Other than that, I have set up a basic epics, which I'm seeing already for this year. Some of our tasks already are basically participating in those epics. Some of them are participating in MVP, and some of them maybe should outcome a new epic instead. So what I said is that epic is basically consisting several other either tasks, improvements, or bugs, or user stories which should be implemented, and epics will be on also roadmap. All of those tasks will be inside of epic, and you can consider those as a subtasks, basically, if you want. So tasks also have several fields you can input. You can either add a child issues as like subtasks into this task if you want. Every time you create a task, you have to fill in the summary, description, and details. Who is this task assigned, and also labels.
Hey,
Currently,
I have
yep.
one question. Maybe you can show how adding the subtask works and where you see it and how it's shown there. Just some example.
Yeah, when you push the child issue button, here is created a field. You can comment, for example, you can create those tasks. And you can.
So it's pretty much the checklist that didn't come with import.
Yep, exactly. It's quite the same, just a different name for it. And you can also assign them to whoever is responsible for those things. There is a assignee, which is really important field. A task should be assigned to someone. There are labels also. Right now, those labels came from the other system, so you should be actually familiar with those. Sprint, well, I will talk about this shortly. Storyboard estimate also I will talk about when I'm gonna talk about sprint. Reporter, well, it's self-explanatory who did enter or input that task. Currently, most of them should be with Otto's name. In the future, probably Henry is going to be one who's making most of the tasks, maybe some me and Otto also. Henry Saar, who is also participating in this meeting, is actually our side analytic. And the idea of this process in future is that me and Henry are going to work back to back, creating new epics and stories. Based on that, we will analyze those tasks, create subtasks maybe, or child tasks in this scenario. And from that point on, I think those leads from backend and front end should be the guys who overlook those tasks maybe, or give more detailed information into those tasks, or maybe even create a pick out of those tasks. So Epic basically is created at point when you see that this task is taking too much effort or taking too much time to develop, or it seems to be too big, basically. And how do we define that? We will go over that in sprint planning session, basically. So is this somewhat clear? What is epic, what is task, and how they are connected to each other, and what fields should be filled in those?
Yeah.
Mostly, yeah. Just gonna have to get used to, obviously, using it.
Yeah, exactly. If we have touched it ourselves, then it's much clearer. But
Yeah.
I think it seems intuitive enough.
Yeah.
Okay. Edon, you okay with that?
Yes, man, yes.
Great. Just a quick question. How is the text? Is the readability of the text okay, or should I change the window sizing?
It's okay for me.
No, it's okay.
It's good.
For me, it's okay.
Good.
Same.
Okay, good. Because yeah, well, I have different resolution, so it might be crappy sometimes. Right, so this is the roadmap view, basically, where we have all of those epics laid out. You can also look what tasks are under those epics. Right now, for example, this is school trip management epic, and under that here is a analytic task, which is assigned to Henry, and Henry is also working on it already. After Henry finishes his work, he will create additional tasks under here, and this is somewhat how the process should be working in future, I believe. The roadmap is main tool for me, I believe, and maybe the team leads also, to know what's happening and when it's happening, etc. This will help us to plan some of the releases and maybe time some milestones also. You can also filter by labels or types. Those are just connected to the either epics or those tasks itself. and also status. Backlog, well, this is going to be one of the main views we are going to use in sprint planning, I believe. So what backlog is? Backlog is basically a task list where all the tasks are located in, which haven't been in the, I don't know, sprints or just haven't had attention to them. And I encourage you to input all the bugs, problems, ideas, etc. into the backlog, basically. So backlog is going to be the place where we are going to take all of those tasks into sprints. Sprints are predefined periods where we basically work on those tasks. And usually sprint should only consist the tasks that we will accomplish. If that sprint isn't over yet and all the tasks are done, for example, from the backend side, then you can also take those backlog tasks and take them into the sprint if you want. But overall, it usually should be as much tasks as we can accomplish. It cannot be 100% certain all the time. Sometimes some tasks are left undone or taken into the next sprint, but overall the target is that we take only so much tasks which we do during the sprint. But next question probably is how much tasks can we do, or how do we know how much things can we do in the week, right? Anybody has an idea how to do it, or what's the methods for that?
I think that mostly will depend on the tasks itself.
True. But how do you rate how hard or how much time does that task take?
If they are pretty small, like we can do it in one day, or sometimes maybe more, sometimes maybe less. But I think that once we cross like 1 month or two using Jira, we will get from statistic how much we're doing, and we can correct that in time.
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct. You're in right right target somewhat. So what I said before, that every task actually has those story point estimates. And this is going to be really crucial for the team to work together and get the estimations correct, actually. And you have to understand one thing. Those are numbers, right? But those numbers does not just represent time. It's not minutes, it's not hours, and it shouldn't be that. Those numbers will represent effort. So this effort, the logic will be developed during the work, basically. So the idea behind that is that if you have like, I don't know, say connecting to the backend, this discussion section, right? So the idea behind that is that either the architect or team lead takes the responsibility, or the whole backend team takes the time to evaluate and discuss how much effort will it take to get this task done. So those numbers will be Fibonacci numbers. I hope you are aware what those numbers are, but if you are not, then I can very quickly. Basically, this is the number list, and those numbers should only be used. So if you're taking this task, we're saying that this should be in this week's sprint, say, then we should estimate the story point amount, basically. How this actually works is that team should be working together and discussing that number. Say, I would say that this effort is like 5. What do you think, Slavko? What should it be? Is 5 okay? Is it too small? Is it too big?
Let's say I will say 7.
Well, 7 is not Fibonacci number.
What was the next Fibonacci from 5?
8.
Then it's 5.
Okay.
I thought that it was 8.
why do you think it's? Let's say you said 8, then you should have some arguments. Why do you think it's 8, or why do I think it's 5?
Yeah, study discussion. Discussions are actually pretty hard to develop on backend because they should be first connected with one topic, I guess, and we should have like whole different users and give them ability to reply to each other, which is also complicated. So it's just not like to-do list. You have more work in them, and you need to structure all that, and you need to connect all discussions with the replies together. That's why I think it should be 9.
Okay. Edon, Otto, what do you think? Do you agree with Slavko?
Yeah, kind of, but I think it should be even higher because remember the meeting we had in Tallinn where you explained that maybe we should use RabbitMQ with the discussion part, so it will be like a forum or something like that. So I think when we want to use the RabbitMQ solution, this is something new we haven't touched before. I think it's going to take a lot of more time.
This is really good discussion, Otto. The RabbitMQ thing actually will be a different task right now. It's gonna be part of this right now. Later on, yes, I totally agree with you. But let's step aside now and look what did we have here. We already had a started conversation and discussion who thinks and why he thinks it is like that. And why this is important is actually to understand how the system works, and you're already doing some work to introduce how the system actually works, either to the existing team members who maybe doesn't need it, but overall awareness is good also, or there are new team members who will get like really quickly on board because they're hearing all about those stuff, how they work, and how to visualize how those things should be connected to each other. So this is actually the value in that, not only the thing that we can rate how much can we do in that sprint, but also have that discussion between team members to understand what's actually happening behind this task. So this is like the real value behind it. But let's say we agreed it's gonna be 8. Great, now we have 8, right? Analytical work. Henry, how much do you think this will take? How much effort?
2 at best.
Okay. I would say actually 5, because you have to know what information we have. You have to go through all the databases and logs, basically.
That's very true. While that is very true, I don't find this very challenging in that sense. Hence the reason why the number from my perspective is quite low.
Okay.
So let's say if I were to rate it, say 8 or something equivalent, I would consider in the fact that I would have to get help from other people, and associate or ask or involve a lot more other parties as well. So I guess the number would go up based on that.
Okay. Understood. I would say that 3 is okay to choose there. But as you saw, we already have some kind of scale in front of us. We really didn't talk about it or agree on what is actually the 1 and what is actually 21 or 23. So this is how it somewhat should happen, but we should definitely lay some examples. For example, 1, in my opinion, is like a database name change only, or configuration change in configuration file.
Logging in with enter.
Well, login with enter also could be, but I don't know, maybe in front end side it will take lots more time than it seems to take time. What do you other guys think?
Edon worked on it. Edon, how would you rate it?
The logging with enter 1 day, man. I don't think it's a half of a day or something. It's not an issue at all.
What do you need to do to make it happen?
Isn't that too much?
Yes, but what is the lowest number that I can?
1.
1. Okay, that's why I said 1.
Okay.
I thought you said 1 day.
Yeah. I
Oh,
misheard you also.
Can you just explain the Fibonacci sequence? Just if you can just unpack it, just like in a minute or so. If you could just quickly just explain it. Yeah. I mean, I can see it, but can you just like explain it to me? I mean, I totally understand. Like 1 versus 2 is like 2 is double 1. That's how that works, right?
Actually not.
Fibonacci sequence is the next number will be last 2 numbers combined.
Yep, exactly. So this is the
Got it,
equation.
okay.
Basically,
Yeah.
you just add those two. Basically,
1,
you have
2,
1
3.
and 2. Add those to 3. Add
So
those to
5.
5.
Got
3
it. 8.
and 5 to 8,
Yeah.
etc. So that's
Okay.
how it goes. Right. Well, about enter, I agree. 1 seems to be okay in this case, and Dedon also agreed with us. So basically, what we should do in next sprint planning, we should maybe discuss about a little bit those story point estimates. Just lay like the 1, maybe 5, and maybe 13 as a kind of examples. What do we think? For example, I would say that 5 is like what kind of examples do we have here? Maybe the login data validation is like, I don't know, 13, in my opinion, maybe. Because it will not only need those front-end validations, but also, this was that change. I don't know, maybe it's even less actually.
Yeah, it should be less because we are making only the login button to be lighter when everything is okay. So it's not like full validation.
Yep, exactly. Only the button change.
Actually,
I think this is like, I don't know, maybe 1 to 3. But if we're doing all the data validation and login, then it's more complicated, and I would say it's like 8 or 13 even.
Yeah.
Actually, I worked on this also, and it's I did the validation with a button and also with some messages if the password don't match or if the username doesn't match. But it wasn't a big issue also. So
Okay.
I don't know how to estimate with what number, but maybe what's the second number after 1?
2 and 3.
Okay.
2, 3.
2. I think that should be 2.
Okay. Right. Done.
We're getting somewhere to understand what the numbers mean, so everybody can guess something already.
So anyways, this numbering and all the logic behind it will develop itself in the process of working, basically. So this is what we need to have in mind. But I believe questions will arise how to estimate what are the points equivalent to time. But this is the thing you actually shouldn't do. This is not a good idea. Don't connect it with time. It's a effort, and it doesn't always connect with time. Sometimes, I mean, time could be only writing the code in some time. Sometimes you need to think or analyze or read maybe. So you should consider all the effort there actually.
Like some easy thing could take like 1 day, like 1 full day, but like it might not be actually the most difficult thing to do. It could be just like copy one thing from the other to other place.
Yeah, actually, that's pretty good point. Some tasks are not too complicated, but they are time consuming.
Exactly. So this is also the key factor there. Yes, exactly. Thanks, Kyle, for the clarification. So yeah, that's the
Maybe-
idea behind it. And
Maybe
yeah,
one question. So when we're planning the next sprint, who should we involve? Will we involve Josh also, for example? Because Josh, I think it seems like Josh won't have enough tasks to fulfill all the sprint. Or how do we solve this? Do Josh works outside the sprints?
Well, I would encourage that all the employees who are working full time are mandatory people in the sprint planning, basically. Also the team lead and PO and all that stuff. And those people who are working not full time, then I would say that it's a optional and it's up to them. How do they feel? If we are going to book all of those items to the sprint, then well, those tasks should be like few only. But if they're like getting more and more, then maybe we should include that guy who is actually participating in sprint. So if you have like only single task for Josh, which is quite simple and should be like, I don't know, half day max, then I don't see Josh as a mandatory people who should participate in the meeting. He will have the invite still, but
up to me if I want to join or not.
Yeah, exactly. But overall, I would say that if there are only single or two tasks per sprint, then it's not mandatory to participate in the sprint. But
yeah, well, let's
development...
let's just see how it goes. Yeah, I mean, like, you know, for example, if there's more and there's more and more tasks, then obviously that's different. But
yep. But if we have developers who are developing all the functionality, then I would encourage all of them to participate in here actually, even if they don't have enough tasks, because I don't know, it feels better if they're here because they will get the idea what's behind the scene happening and also how are things developed basically.
Yeah, and we definitely need the discussion to put the story points and they can involve in the discussion. So
exactly, it will just, I mean, the usual team size is recommended that you have 3 to 5 developers in single projects, sometimes 8 even, but I don't think we will fill up all the team right now. So in that sense, I would say that more we have, the better it is, but we shouldn't have over 8 people participating in the meeting. Otherwise, it will be just, I don't know, not functioning that well, I believe. So this is the idea. What we should now do is maybe discuss about the backlog also. The backlog is also
one more question about it. But how do we plan the sprint? What is the sprint amount will be? How we decide, like how many story points we put there?
Okay, this will be determined basically with experience. The longer we use the sprints for those weeks, the longer and better data we have, and based on that previous sprints, how many story points did we manage to do? This is basically the target number. So I cannot give you a target number right now. It depends on the team size. It depends how team evaluates or puts those story point estimates. And it's also a combination of multiple things.
So at the beginning, it's a good idea to just not estimate the story points, but rather select the tasks and think what are the tasks that we should be able to finish in this sprint time, and maybe then put the story points on top of them.
No, story points should be the first things to put on basically, and then you should take as much as you feel confident that you can solve actually.
Okay.
So at the first, don't look at the points. The points will come after, I don't know, 3, 4, maybe 5 weeks. And after that, you can maybe get the already knowledge how many points can you solve.
Okay, but when estimating the story points, will we estimate only the amount that we will involve in the sprint, or we can estimate more than that next sprint also, or how this works?
Well, basically, we estimate those story points in the backlog, actually. The backlog should be actually prioritized based on the priority of tasks. If I know semester grade is more important, then I will drag it into the top, so you would know that it's important, actually.
Based on, I guess, also on the roadmap.
Sorry?
Based on the roadmap.
Yeah, exactly. So how is the sprint plan actually working is that you will estimate those, I don't know, several items, and then you will drag as much as you think you can accomplish. And if you have those tasks already in the sprint, then you will start the sprint. And first several weeks, it will be somewhat disaster and all the estimation and knowledge how it works. But after that, it should go a little bit more smoothly. But maybe we should overgo those few things that we have planned to do this week. So we can maybe drag them into the sprint, give them those story point estimates and start the sprint. But I need your help, guys, with that.
Yeah, I'm opening the board. Is the board up to date at the moment? I mean the Crewnew board, Trello board.
Yeah, I think so. Even so, I'm not sure about the backend.
Okay, so no backend developers at the moment here. So maybe that we can estimate those tasks here, but it would be a little bit bad because no backend developers, but we kind of know.
Yeah,
so
we can give you some estimation. It's better than nothing. So
okay,
we'll open it a different window for me.
So maybe we can let Slavcho do it as a front-end developer side.
Okay. Right now, I'm seeing that this parent admin is somewhat. I don't know which switch actually, but it's front end one. Okay.
Find the rest of the pages listed below.
Let's do it like this. So front end parent admin.
What's parent admin means? I don't understand actually.
Here is a parent admin.
Is all functionalities for the parent view when parent log in. We have different kinds of users. One of them is parent.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to somehow configure the application to display only part of the application because we don't want everything to be displayed in the parent. We have just like a couple of things that we want to display to the parent.
Correct.
And
yep.
that's what this means. And we have this task is actually split into two parts. We have one part that is only for front end and one part that is only for back end.
Mm-hmm.
But wasn't the backend part already finished like a month ago?
Not about a month ago, but right now is finished. Even so, it's not updated in the. For that, I'm sure. Actually, I think that even the grades page up there is finished because I talked with Sebi yesterday, and he told me that he's done. He just need to write some little documentation just so the front end can go much more easily about what is done and where can front end find those queries and those changes. But I can say that for sure.
Okay, so but anyway, parent admin. How many story points?
At the moment, I think we can go with 8.
Okay.
Because I think that maybe 60% is already finished on that part. We just need to recheck everything and that's all.
Okay, but how was it done last time and how will it be done this time? Like what is the difference?
Last time we have only dashboard and grades, but after that we decided to extend the parent dashboard and add a couple of other things that that parent can use, like chat, study, and some other implementations on dashboard itself. So we just extended the functionality of the parent view.
Okay.
That's why we are redoing everything. Previously, the parent can only see only two things: dashboard and study and grades, and that was all.
Okay, but are you doing it from zero, or are you making the last version of parent admin?
Sorry, what?
Are you doing the parent from zero, the parent role, or are you using the previous parent version, which we had?
You think you're talking about the user?
Yeah, the parent role, I mean.
Yeah, parent .schoolify. I think that's the name.
Okay, but are we doing this parent role from zero, or are we using the previous?
Oh, no. We are using previously.
Okay.
What we have, yeah.
Okay.
So estimated to 8. Rechecking. I don't know. Let's give it quick numbers. Study materials. I believe it will be like 5 then maybe, and rechecking everything maybe a 3.
Yeah.
Logical. Okay.
And chat. Oh yeah, we need to include the chat too. Chat on front end should be also like 3, because it's basically the same chat that we're using for the rest of the. But I'm not sure how is this affecting the backend.
Okay, like
but
2 or 3.
Backend side, this is already solved.
Okay. I'll put it 2 over here.
But now it's like over the 8. How is this?
It's not calculating. It's this basically tasks points, as far as I know.
So this child issues points combined can exceed the story points of the whole task.
Yep.
Okay.
This can be different, as you see.
Okay.
So let's move on grades page. Let's give it some quick. This is front end grades. It's in to do. There are 2 subtasks actually. So we should give some rating here too. If you have any ideas, I would say this collecting all grades. I mean,
I think this is
a
backend task. Yeah, this is for the backend, and as I understand, this is already at least first task is finished.
Okay.
Second task doesn't seem hard.
Type still. What is the second task? If specific type.
I copied it from here.
Oh no, it's front end actually. Sorry.
Yeah.
Empty. Actually, they're finished. They're just not connected with the backend because backend was slow in those days. Sebi just sent me some data that will be exactly like the data that the backend will send to us. So we use that mock data to connect everything, and I think that even right now everything is connected. So we just need backend documentation so we can connect to the right queries and retrieve that.
Okay.
So maybe just write that as a task. Connect with the backend.
Delete that task. I will. Actually, we don't need that subtask also. can just
Yeah,
delete it.
yeah.
Okay. Any estimation?
5.
Okay, let's go with 5. I won't argue right now.
Yeah.
Chat page.
Uh,
This is
so you can get audience in the chat together with group chat and unread messages. This is like 3, the first task, and the second one, hook up with the new socket channel so that we can listen on newly write and read messages when we're chatting with different user. And the second one will be like 15 or something, because we need to listen to those and we need to accordingly update the users, and we need to increment that in case some new messages are arriving in that moment.
okay.
So first one will be like 5 and the second will be like 15.
15 or 50?
What was the next amount? I need to check.
MPQ, you mean?
13.
Or 13.
13.
8, 13.
And 8,
13,
21.
21. Okay. I will add those child tasks also here. So the second one was 21,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. This is good example actually. 21 is quite on the limit actually. In agile development, if those tasks are having 21 or 34 ratings, then it's a indication that this task actually should be separated into several smaller tasks. And this is something you need to keep in mind. Sometimes it's okay, but usually it says that those should be divided or make it into the subtasks.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So, and the other one was
5.
Was it 8? 5. Okay, good. So overall level, I know, chat page, what should I give it? Does this sum seem reasonable, or 21, or even more?
I would go with even more.
34 then. Okay, I will keep it that. So the chat, new chats, chat. Is it okay if I already changed the task description, or should I keep them same as in your system so you can find those tasks in your, or is something missing?
No, change it. I think it's even better. Yeah. New chat must be highlighted. Design. Yeah, this is like 3.
Seems reasonable. Okay, grades. I will just check it what it's grades. Where the hell is it?
I think maybe it's in complete section already. Or maybe it's taken from the...
Oh yeah, it's
outside.
complete already. So will I just click it done and remove it from this list?
Yeah.
Okay. Dashboard latest activity.
This is pretty huge task.
And it's done.
Oh no, latest activity isn't huge task. Sorry, it's done.
It's done. Yep. Settings.
Madis, can you recheck? I think a couple front-end things were unticked there.
What? Where?
With the one you just deleted.
I know. I saw that those were here. You mean those are undone?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are undone, but the task is overall done.
Okay.
I will put it like that. Okay. Or not?
Or maybe it was the Slavzo help me out. Maybe it was the sub task that I wrote at the beginning and then you rewrote it. And we just drag it to complete. But the sub task, like at the moment.
Those 4 in the drop-down menu need to be correct in the grades. Yes, this is finished. When selecting the correct criteria in drop-down, grades need to appear in the corresponding column. This is also done. When selecting a class from the drop-down menu and grading it, then the grade must appear in the corresponding row. Yeah, it's done.
Yeah, great. So this was done, and this is settings, which is back and front end.
I worked.
Adam was working on it.
Yes, and I think the front end is almost done, except this one to connect with a backend.
This one? Okay. I
Yes.
will copy it over here then.
And story points?
I don't know, 8 maybe.
But do you at the moment can you like when you have completed this task, can the user edit also information, not only add?
Yes, actually, I worked on it also, but we need some new mutations, and I think 8 is the correct number for this task.
Okay.
I think.
Okay. So we'll put date also in here then.
Yes.
Right now. Okay. Chat. What's behind that? This is front and back end. Not this one. This one. It's done, except this new chest must be okay. This is already inputted in actually.
No, there is something left on the back end for chat, and that's displaying unread messages and updating them accordingly with the socket. That's something that is missing from the backend side, and that's actually the only thing that is missing.
Okay, maybe I'll just define this as a separate task for backend if that's okay.
Yeah, sure.
Remove that. What did you say was needed to be done? I create a WebSocket for chat notification.
Yeah, socket for displaying new messages.
Okay. This is not needed.
One should be on initial load to display all unread messages, and another one should be through the socket. When you are chatting with one user, all the other users should be updated if they are sending messages at that moment.
Okay, can you repeat it, please, one by one? I will add it.
Okay, the first will be on initial load to display all unread messages.
Mm-hmm.
And the second will be through using sockets to update the rest of the chats. Through using sockets to update the rest of the chats with new messages. Yeah, that's more or less.
Great. There we go. Any estimation? I know that there is no backend guys would know, but do we have any idea how much could it take? Or we would just keep it as it is?
I can try to go with something, but
Okay,
maybe
let it be.
I
Let it be.
think
Let it be. It's just gonna stay that way. It's okay. So dashboard classes again. Dashboard classes.
you have it in the to-do list, I think.
Yeah,
That's
as well. Okay. Okay, this is the status.
Is there any progress with this task at the moment?
Once again, I will speculating about this, but as I understand, on backend everything is finished. We just need some dummy data to be inserted so we can implement it in the front end. One thing that isn't done on backend is to make it this manageable through directors, because we want to add all this information through the directors. I know that part is not done on the backend.
Mm-hmm.
But all tables are done and they are connected with each other. We just need some dummy data so we can try to test it on the front end and make it work. So maybe for backend task, you should just write to make it manageable to directors. That will be like the first task. No, the first task will be to add some dummy data on the backend. That will be the first task, and the second will be make this option manageable through directors.
Yep, it's already written. Did it? Or I can change the naming.
And on front end, we just need to make this manageable. We just need to display those informations. Okay. Display all data or all data in front end and connect them with the links, I guess, because they should be linked with the right pages.
Mm-hmm. Yep, correct. Just put some front end label. One thing to keep in mind, if you create those child tasks and you see that they are not visible in here, then you need to FS the page. I think it was a bug. At least at some point there was some kind of bug that new tasks didn't get added to the list. Or maybe it was to here. Maybe I'll just overgo quickly the task creation also. If you want to create a task or a story or a bug or epic, then you just push the create button in here in the top. Choose the issue type, give it some summary, some description, assign it to somebody, either you or somebody else, add labels, whichever you want. Don't choose the sprint if it's not going into the sprint right away. I'll just do test to see if it was actually working. Storybed estimate, assigned to me, and that's it. Yep, it doesn't arrive here basically. But when no, I didn't add the label. Great. Anyways, I know there was some kind of bug and they haven't fixed it still, I believe. So just a thing to keep in mind. But this dashboard classes. Also a thought that maybe if you have several tasks like, I don't know, 3, 4, maybe 5 or 7 even child issues, then maybe we should convert this task also to the epic basically. And how did we do that? There was a button somewhere. Actions and okay, I gotta find that button. I know there was a possibility to make it epic instead of. I had to move it. Just a sec. Yeah, okay. This is the way to do it.
Ah, here it is.
But there might be a problem with it. I'm afraid that those subtasks maybe will be lost. Just a sec, let's check it. Yep, exactly. Those are lost. This is something to keep in mind. If you wanna upgrade it to Epic, then keep in mind that you have to deal with those child tasks first. Make those child tasks into the regular task, and then you can assign them to this Epic. Let's see if those are existing here. Okay, this is the one should be connected to the Epic. And what is the Epic? Bulk edit. Okay, those ones. Next. Okay, I gotta change those fields. It seems some things are in Estonian. Now that I have moved those tasks into, or sorry, child tasks into tasks, then I can assign epics to them. This is just an example how to do it basically. Yep. Okay, so just to speed up things and people wouldn't fall into sleep, let's pick some things into this week. What do you think? What we can make it happen this week? Or what are your plans this week?
Chat page, we are working on that currently, so that should go to the sprint. Connect grades page with backend. We should probably try this.
Okay.
New chat messages are highlighted. That's basically the same one.
Mm-hmm. I will also actually do the same transition with those. I will, because this is somewhat too big to be a single single task. So hold on. Sorry for wasting your time.
In the meantime, one thing that scares me in the moment is the backend, because two of the guys that we have are sick, and I'm not sure how much they can work this week.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I understood. Actually, Otto also told this information, and I understand. We'll see how it goes, as this thing basically is not in our hands, as I know, as they are having COVID or other sickness. So there's nothing we can do, I think. But it goes as it goes. It's a shame that this deadline is also delayed, but I don't have any.
I mean, there isn't too much job left. If the whole team is here, we can finish maybe in 3 days tops, something like that. I mean, there isn't too much job, but we have different problems at the moment, as you know.
Yep, I understand.
In the meantime, we made a lot of structural changes to the application just so we can solve some problems in the future. We are now moved to mono repo. We don't use two different repos because we were experiencing a lot of problems with that, and now everything is in one project, and backend is really good structured at the moment. And yeah, we made a lot of progress on that field in the meantime.
Okay. Well, let's hope for the best. We did have the 20 test deadline, but yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Because well, basically we have a long year in front of us, as far as I know. So
yeah,
we'll make the time up in future, I think.
For sure.
So now those are also converted to the epics. Let's take front end. Ah, crap, labels missing. This is back end, no, front end, right?
I want to listen when you chat.
Right, sorry.
Yeah, it's front end.
This is also front end, as far as I understand.
Yeah.
Yep, okay. So now we should have those here. So let's move this to here and this then, as we agreed previously. So I think 34 right now seems quite optimistic, as we have like 2 days left.
Oh yeah, actually, yeah.
So I wouldn't add any more items in here. Analytical part. Yes.
Show again the epic.
Which one?
Of the front end.
You mean front end tasks?
Yeah, like at the moment, did you also involve the work that Edon will be doing, or what Edon will be working on?
Nope, not yet.
So at the moment, you added only Slavjo tasks.
Yeah, well, basically. Okay. Edon, what about you? Which tasks?
I think my tasks that I am working on those two, can you please filter it one more time, only for the front end? On this settings, also worked on this parent admin, as I remember, and I have to work on this grading fix. But for the front end, I think I've done all of the stuff that's needed for this moment. And that's why we need backend for all these tasks.
Okay.
But I don't know. We can communicate with Slavcho, and maybe we can work something together, or I need to wait for the backend guys. This is the plan,
Okay.
I think.
Yeah,
Okay, understood.
I'm trying to finish at least some of the work that backend is doing. I know I can write something about it, and I will just see how we're progressing. But Adam, me and you, we will stay in contact. That's for sure.
Yes. I mean,
And,
this is an let's say an emergent situation for the. We don't have backend guys, but they are sick, so that's why we have to solve some.
But what about Arian tasks?
One of them is already added here. Can you just filter it once again?
Yep, sure.
Connect grades page with backend. That's something that Arian was doing. Grades page is always Arian doing, so that would be for him right now.
Okay.
So but even for that, we need the backend. Actually, for all of these tasks, we need the backend.
Okay, understood. So let's keep it that way right now and continue with the training or explanations from my side. So basically the idea is that we have sprint plan. We know what everybody is doing. Or actually one more thing. Do you have everybody have their accounts already registered or made to work?
No, I don't have. I didn't register to.
Okay,
Jira
maybe I can see if I can.
I'm not logged in yet. Also.
Really. We'll see. So Henry is active. Slavko, I can send. We sent the invite.
I just logged in.
Okay, great.
Just to refresh the page, I think. I'm not.
It seems to be a duplicate address list actually, as
I think I am with Z. Yes, the last one.
Okay,
yes,
this one. Okay.
Yes.
Shall I send it again, or you said you just logged in? It
yes,
probably hasn't updated yet.
Yes, I just logged in.
Okay, great. So Josh at Crewnew, I will remove that. Who's Martin? Otto, who's Martin?
Martin. So which one?
This one.
Oh, Martin S. Did you invite him?
Yeah, well, it sent invites to everybody who was texting in the tasks description, basically.
He's the old guy who set up the Amazon and the VBB, and he's not working anymore.
Okay, this Evelyn. Okay, let's go over it later.
Maris.
But yes.
Josh peab minema.
Okay, Josh. Yeah. Thank you.
Is that okay, guys? I've got another meeting that's starting in about 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's okay. Do it. I will send you the link for the video if you want to see what happened later on.
That'll be perfect. Thank you so much, Mattis. Okay, guys.
You're welcome. Ciao. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So Slavko, you have this Crewnew email and you have this Gmail. Which one is correct?
Slavko.
Is in mute. Maybe.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was on mute. Resend invitation on that one. Yeah.
To the Gmail?
Gmail, yeah.
Yep. Okay, I will remove the other one.
You know, I can quickly tell which one to remove here if you want.
We can do it later, or you can do it yourself.
Okay.
Actually, you can. Let's do it later. Let's not waste on time. It's important Slavko can access also the board, because I need to know which peoples are going to be basically assigned to. So new chat, this was Ariane, correct?
Yes. The one with the grades.
No,
Yeah.
only with the grades. This one
Yeah,
is for
yeah.
me.
Otto, kuule üks asi veel, kui see Ariani Crewnew oma on vale, on ju?
Jah, ma arvan, kustuta ära see praegu.
Siis ma tean, kui mul vaadata. Okay, so the grades was Ariane, correct? Just to double check. Or
Yeah, Ariane Krasnitsky.
Yep. Okay. New chat messages highlighted. Whom shall I assign it to?
Yeah, to me.
Okay. Initial load call query that backend will set up. Also.
Also me, yeah.
Parent admin.
Edon.
Go with Z, man, please. The Chiri.
Yep.
That's it. Thanks.
Got it. Settings.
Me.
Also, yeah.
Hidden again.
And this is Slavko.
Yeah.
Great. So we have the sprint plan in place. So I'm going to start the sprint now. Let's
Great
do it
email.
1 week. And this is it. So now the main tool becomes the sprint board, basically. There are several things to do, and if there is in progress, just drag and drop them whichever place they are. And if there is any, yes.
Maris, can you try and edit my email? Just remove the dot. I guess it's making some kind of problem. Or you don't have a dot. You have a dot.
There is a dot. I can remove it.
Yeah, just remove it. I mean, Gmail is pretty agnostic with the dots, but I
know. Sometimes it can fuck up.
Yeah.
I'll just check if I can find your email once again, or maybe you can write your email into the chat here.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, see if you have the invite now. There might be also a problem with sending out the emails because of importing those tasks. It sent out many emails and basically Jira blocked that email sending. So it might be the case that this is also blocking the email reaching to your Gmail account.
Okay, now I'm in.
Okay, good. So basically, yeah, this is the sprint board. There are issues, in progress issues and done issues. You can also do the filtering team, type thing, and epic. And when you have reached the Friday, or we do a retro, then we can complete the sprint. What are your thoughts about this organizing of the sprint planning and retro and all that stuff? Would you like it to be on the same day, like for example on Monday or Friday, or do you prefer it having two separate meetings? For example, the sprint planning is on Monday and sprint retro is on Friday.
I'm not really sure what.
Sorry, what was the other thing? Sprint planning and sprint
retrospective. How did the week go? What problems did we encounter? What tasks remain undone, and so on?
I think it's somewhat beneficial to have it in one meeting, because first you can go to the retrospective and you can plan Yeah, so maybe make it in the same day.
I
understand
was
the problem.
also. Sorry.
Yeah, I understand the problem that it can be a very long meeting and maybe it's hard to focus that long. But I also support Slavco's idea that it would be nice to have these two together.
I would actually also recommend for the starting point, let's do it in the single meeting on Monday, for example, just to do the retro and sprint planning, and let's see how it goes from there. If we need separate meetings, we can do it anytime later. So that's the idea. Or if we need breaks, we can do breaks also. So yeah. Would Monday be okay day to do the sprint planning, or do you wanna do different sprint scheduling? For example, I don't know, maybe start and end the sprint in the middle of week, which is irregular, but I don't know. It depends.
Monday works fine with me.
Yeah, with me also.
Okay.
I think it would also nice because on Monday I think it's like you can focus better than on the end of the week when the week is already over. But I had one question. So what will be the sprint length?
Right now I think a week should be okay, but we can move it to 2 weeks if we want.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. Is 1 week too short or?
I am for 2 weeks actually. I think that's a regular one for a sprint.
I mean, I don't think there is a regular. It's just like how we agree or how the work is progressing. That's what should we say get as a reference. But yeah, let's start with 1 week and see how it's going. It
usually comes down to the knowledge of team and communication of team, because there are two sides. One is knowledge. It's basically how small tasks you must have to know what to do every day or every week. If you have like bigger tasks as you had before, then maybe the 2 week is sufficient. If you have smaller tasks and more inexperienced people, then 1 week is maybe a bit better. It's just a thought basically. But let's see how it goes and work from that on.
Sure.
So overall, this is some kind of introduction I wanted to do. I think I will overgo several things, but overall we're going to sum it up in, I don't know, in 15 to 30 minutes, just a heads up. So the board basically is going to be the main place where you will spend your time. There is also the backlog thing. If you want to add something into the sprint, you can drop it there. I won't do it right now, but you can also modify it during the sprint. This is also important when you want to do something outside of the sprint, then please drag it to the sprint.
Okay.
If we are going to use that Jira the way it is supposed to be used, then it will give us really nice overview. Who is doing what's happening, what stages are we at, and those sprints and epics will also be on the either months or quarters view really nicely.
I have one question.
Yes.
Is the roadmap be connected with the tasks also?
Yep.
But at the moment we didn't connect them.
They are already connected actually. I did the MVP epic and all those tasks are connected to the MVP epic basically. But later on, if something gets done, then the progress bar here will go like green. So it will show what's happening with those stages basically.
Okay.
I also added some tasks and epics, as I said earlier, to the roadmap, which are going to be happening in this year. So this will give you a heads up or preview what we're planning. I can also show you the plan of this year actually after the meeting when we stop the recording, because this is already in somewhat draft situation, but we need to think it through and see how things work out this year. So yes,
I think that maybe we close the recording and then we can also give like feedback.
Yep. And also one thing to mention is that we have Confluence connected to the Jira. Confluence is basically a wiki, who doesn't know what it is. And we are planning to use it for whole documentation. Right now it's this default layout and documentation set up there, but we are going to be adding documentation here. Say Henry does some analytical work and maybe puts down some requirements for specific tasks, for example, maybe data fields or database tables or API keys, etc. These should be in here documentation side basically. And those documentation notes can also be connected to the tasks, and you can see the task status, etc. Later on, it is also possible to have those graphs and stuff like that based on the statuses of tasks. And also the meetings actually should be documented in the Confluence. So it will give a nice overview of what's happening, what people discuss, etc. But we'll see how it goes and how many information will be input here. It has to be reasonable. I don't want to overcomplicate things and over document things. I just want to see some documentation also happening in there. Later on, we can also connect it to the Bitbucket or GitHub where we have code, and then we have additional information regards to the code.
Cool.
And we have this task which is also connected to the Confluence. For example, if some information is going to be Confluence, I would emphasize that it is reasonable to connect it either through description or some ways to those articles in Confluence, so you can quickly switch between them.
Cool. Can we start using Confluence even from now? Because I think we need something like that for the. We need a lot of documentation to document actually.
Yep. Confluence is already set up and connected to Jira, so feel free to use it. What we need to do is we have to lay down some ground rules, as far as I know, because we should have some kind of structure in Confluence, otherwise it can get messy quite fast, I think.
Oh yeah.
But other than that, yeah, Confluence is already free to use, and I will come up with some kind of basic ideas or thoughts about how to document to Confluence.
Yeah, you already have how-to articles, so maybe just try to insert everything there. Yeah.
Exactly. I will add my thoughts here, basically.
Cool.
So overall, I think this is it for today's training or overview. What and how Jira will do for us. No. If you have any questions, let me know. I will also be available, I don't know, whatever time you want to contact me. I hope you have my contacts. And about next week, I would actually love to have this Monday's sprint veteran planning. And in addition to that, we should agree with the whole team whether and how often we are going to have those stand-ups, like 5 to 10 minutes in morning or in the day, just to maybe go over some ideas, problems, or whatever questions we have at that time.
I think from our side, it will be nice to have it after our own Crewnew meeting. So everybody will be there and we can do it straight after our own meeting. Then we don't have to wait for anyone. And
yeah, I was even thinking to maybe, because in Crewnew we were just waiting a time when we can split the teams that are, because we're a small team, we are all going to the same stand-up. But now, once we have this stand-up, maybe we should think about only joining one. But yeah, for now, let's move it through after the Schoolify, and we will see for the future. We're doing every day from 12 and 15, I guess. Something
well,
like
this is something we need to just agree on. We don't have to do it every day. Maybe it's even not needed if you have this Crewnew meeting, but it's just something usually teams should have, and there is always something to discuss.
Let's start with maybe once a week on Friday, because we moved everything to Monday. Let's have one on Friday and see how we'll develop. Because yeah, as you said, we are already meeting every day.
Yeah, I don't want to overcomplicate things and waste your time with only meetings. Otherwise, you don't have any time to work actually real things. So that's definitely something I don't want. But let's do Monday the planning and maybe on Friday like this 10 to 15 minute meeting. See how it went.
Yeah.
Maybe I can ask Otto your help to find suitable time for all of us in Monday and Friday for those times. Is it okay?
Yeah, of course.
Great. So, do you have any more questions right now?
Yeah, I have one thing to discuss, but I think you can close the recording because it goes too long.
Okay, will do.